2, 3, jump!
The VR fails that never get old. We'll hate you again next week.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Bird, and the Maple Leaf season opener came and went. And 48 shots later, no goals for the blue and white. The Habs handing Toronto their first shutout loss since November 20th, 2021, ending a streak of 252 games without a shutout, including playoffs, the third longest streak in NHL history. A disappointing start, to say the least. But let's give some flowers to Sam Montembeault, who set an NHL record for most saves in a season-opening shutout. You know I love goalies, even if it's a goalie for a team that I despise. It's fine. They're back at it tonight as they take on their former coach Sheldon Keefe in New Jersey. And with the Buds pulling double duty, of course our intrepid Leafs reporter Mark Masters is doing the same thing. Mark, a quick turnaround for you. How are you feeling on day 2 of your NHL season? How many hours of sleep are we talking here?
Well, I got about 6 hours, Marissa, but don't worry, I'm full of energy and riding a wave of adrenaline towards this first TSN Leafs broadcast of the regular season.
Mark, not the start the Leafs were looking for. But we might be having a completely different conversation if Sam Montembeault wasn't standing on his head. So who stood out for you for the Leafs on Wednesday?
Well, it was the Leafs goalie who stood out the most on opening night. Anthony Stolarz stopping 26 of 27 shots. It was his first ever season opening start. He said he had a little extra bounce in his step, and it showed. Austin Matthews said he was probably the team's best player. So for me, it was Anthony Stolarz.
Tonight the Leafs take on Sheldon Keefe and the Devils. He spent 5 years behind the bench in Toronto. So what's Keefe expecting in his first game against his former team?
Well, Sheldon Keefe says it's a bit bizarre to face his old team for the first time in his new team's home opener, but he's not looking for revenge or anything like this. He says he's got nothing but love and respect for everyone on the other side tonight. A bit of a different story from his players inside the dressing room, though. Both Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt telling us that they think this will be an emotional game for the coach and they want to win it for him.
Mark Masters, always a pleasure having you on DSC.
Anytime, Marissa.
And if you are in the Leafs region, you can catch more of Mark's coverage tonight on TSN as the Leafs take on the Devils. To the NFL now, and what a Thursday nighter we have on deck as the Seahawks play host to the 49ers. And despite being one of the NFL's biggest underachievers to start the season, our friends at FanDuel have San Fran at 3.5-point favorites. Which leads us to my producer's favorite segment, FanDuel Fastback. We're going to put 40 seconds on the board. I'm going to see how many of these I can get through. My previous record is 5, but as you know, my producer loves to sewer me, so here we go. Brock Purdy has been betting favorite in all 26 of his regular season starts entering tonight's game. That's the longest such streak to begin a career in the Super Bowl era. His passing yardage, see how there's two, anyways. Passing yardage is set at 253.5 for tonight's game at FanDuel, on FanDuel. The Seahawks were last in the NFL to rush attempts per game. I don't know, this is gonna be bad. 2024 yet are 7th in the NFL in yards per carry. And really, third with 8 rush TDs. What is this even? Kenneth Walker's rushing total is set at 63.5 on FanDuel, and at minus 120, he has the shortest odds of any Seahawks to score a touchdown. Geno Smith leads the NFL in passing yards with 1,466 and pass attempts with 199 in 2024. Okay. I only got to 3. I would, again, like to show you that there are several points within 1 point. And you can see through the paper. So I was set up to fail once again. As always, you can catch the game on TSN. Coverage gets underway at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Over to the nation's capital, where the Ottawa Senators are kicking off their NHL season against the Panthers. For Ottawa, this year is all about ending streaks, as they're looking to end their 7-year run of missing the playoffs. Last year didn't exactly go the Sens' way, as their 78 points had them 2 points out of last in the Atlantic Division. But Ottawa did make a huge splash this offseason, bringing in former Vezina winner Linus Ullmark, and then signing him to a 4-year extension. That was their only big move, though. So will it be enough to get the Senators back in the playoffs? It's worth noting how crucial goaltending has been to Ottawa's lack of success over the past few years, as it's arguably been the team's biggest area of need, and were dead last in team save percentage last year. And throughout their playoff drought, they've been near the bottom in these 2 metrics. That's a huge deal for Ottawa, as last time they were top 10 in these stats. They were a playoff team. This is exactly why Ottawa brought in one of the top goaltenders in Ullmark, who should be a massive upgrade in net. Last year, Ullmark won 22 of his 40 games, and had the 8th best goals against average among goalies who started 40 or more. Compared to the Sens starter a season ago, that's just night and day, as Joonas Korpisalo won less games than Ullmark in 15 more starts. Allmark is also capable of playing even better than he did last year, as seen by his incredible Vezina winning campaign, when he led the league in wins, save percentage, and goals against average. While playing for a strong Bruins team certainly played a role in Allmark's production, the numbers suggest he's been one of the best goalies in the league of late. And that is huge for the Senators, as goaltending has held them back for years. If Allmark can maintain his level of play this year, Ottawa will be in a much better position to get back in the playoff race. The Sens will also have a chance to end another streak tonight, as they host the Florida Panthers, a team they have lost 5 games in a row to dating back to 2023. I feel like we've built the Sens up into something now, okay? So they better win tonight. Let's see whether they can turn things around and start the season on a high note tonight. Full coverage of the game will be on TSN tonight. You won't want to miss it. To the hardcourt now, where the WNBA Finals gets underway tonight. The New York Liberty square off against the Minnesota Lynx in a battle of the league's top 2 teams from the regular season. Sabrina Ionescu and the Liberty's high-powered offense are looking for the first title in franchise history. They're 0-5 in finals, and last year watched the Las Vegas Aces hoist the trophy on their home turf. Meanwhile, Defensive Player of the Year Nafisha Collier led the Lynx to the WNBA's second-best record, allowing just over 75 points per game. And to get us set up for Game 1 tonight, let's bring in our guy, TSN betting analyst, Wesley Chang. Great to see ya.
Hey, good to see you.
I love when you do this in person. Wes, you know the question. What's your best bet for tonight's game?
All right, game 1, I like Sabrina Ionescu to go over her points, rebounds, assists prop, which is 27.5. We're going to call that the goddess bet, and that's shout out to Tamika Nurse. She's the one that coined that one. So the reason why we like Sabrina Ionescu, she's had a really good playoffs. She's scoring over 20 points a game, over 5 dimes, 5 rebounds. She's leading the Liberty in scoring during these playoffs. She's been a really solid 1B to Brianna Stewart's 1A.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the ball's been in their hand more, but you can say Minnesota, really strong defense. They do have the DPOY you just mentioned, but all of their strengths are on the interior. I think the Liberty are going to make a point to try to get Ionescu involved early, get her attacking from perimeter, and she'll hopefully have more opportunities on the perimeter where Minnesota is not as strong. So I just think game 1, second finals, Sabrina had a really rough one last year. I think she's going to want to make good on it this time.
I love it, man. Great, Wes, thanks a lot. I know do a promo. Get out of here. You can catch Game 1 tonight right here on TSN. Coverage gets underway at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And we end today's show with some big news from the world of tennis, as one of the GOATs is calling it a career. Rafael Nadal announced today on Instagram that he will retire after next month's Davis Cup. And it's truly the end of an era, as Novak Djokovic is the only member of the Big Three active on tour, and the only man to win more Grand Slam titles than Rafa's 22. Now, people love to debate who holds the title of tennis's GOAT, but there's no debate when it comes to who's the king of clay, because Rafa's accomplishments on the surface may never be matched. We all know about his escapades at Roland Garros, where he has an incredible 112-4 record, and hoisted the trophy 14 times, the most titles by any player in a single Grand Slam. But dig a little deeper and you will find some insane stats. Rafa was 484-51 on clay in his career, taking home 63 titles on the surface. Yeah, you heard that right. 63 titles and 51 matches lost in his career. We could go on and on. We didn't even get to his 2 Olympic gold medals, or his 18 consecutive years ranked inside the top 10. Not to mention, he's just one of the greatest competitors we've ever seen. When you look back at a career like this, you really start to feel small about your own life, don't you? That's it for me today. We'll see you back at tomorrow at 3 Eastern, no Pacific. Have a good one.